What's up, boxing fans? I'm Miguel Maravilla with a preview of Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Dmitry Bivol, taking place Saturday, May 7th, live on The Zone from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. This is quite a challenge for the champion, the undisputed champion, the four-division champion, Canelo Alvarez, as he's taking on an undefeated Dmitry Bivol. Bivol out of that Russian amateur program. He had a very great amateur record. It comes from a great amateur pedigree. Canelo, this is quite a challenge he will be taking on. Perhaps one of the biggest challenges since he's faced Golovkin, as Bivol has he has an extensive amateur background. Canelo, of course, he himself has gone on to dominate middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight. So campaigning back and forth between light heavyweight and super middleweight, now back at light heavyweight as he takes on the dangerous Bivol. This should be a very intriguing matchup. Canelo, the four-division world champion, the Mexican superstar, taking on the undefeated Dmitry Bivol, 19-0, 11 knockouts. Bivol is coming off a unanimous decision over Umar Salamov last December. This fight taking place in Russia. Dominating performance by Bivol. Prior to that, he decisioned Craig Richards, that taking place in Manchester, England. It wasn't his best performance, but he managed to get the victory over Richards. Then prior to the pandemic, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, he also won a unanimous decision over Lenin Castillo at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago. Then took over a year off during the pandemic, came back to fight Richards and Salamov. Now he's up for the challenge against Canelo. Some of the notable names on Bivol's resume include wins over Joe Smith Jr., win over Jean Pascal, scored a unanimous decision over both. Isaac Chilemba, and he also stopped Sullivan Barrera in the 12th and final round. That was a dominating performance by Bivol, and that win was back in 2018. Bivol won his first world title back in 2016, winning the WBA interim world light heavyweight title over Felix Valera. Since then, he's dominated the opposition, now ready for the challenge against the Mexican superstar Canelo Alvarez. For Canelo, since his defeat to Floyd Mayweather Jr. back in 2013, a learning lesson from that defeat, as he has been on top of the sport, fighting the best, including two fights with Gennady Triple G Golovkin, a draw and winning a close decision, winning 4 world titles in 4 weight classes, and moving up to light heavyweight to defeat Sergey Kovalev by knockout, as he went on to become a 4-division world champion with that win. And he has also become undisputed champion at super middleweight, as he scored an 11th round TKO over Caleb Plant in his last fight to win the IBF super middleweight title, unifying the titles. His 2021 campaign, a knockout over Avni Yildirim, and stopping Billy Joe Saunders to win the WBO super middleweight title. It's possible with a victory, we could potentially be seeing the third fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. This fight's rumored to be taking place in September. We all know Canelo signed to fight Bivol, with the possibility of fighting Golovkin in September after he signed with DAZN, Matchroom Boxing. Briefly flirted with PBC, as well as a potential fight with Charlo and Benavides. Now, Canelo has Dmitry Bivol standing in his path, which could potentially spoil the plans for a third fight with Golovkin. We shall see. There's no question that this is going to be a very tough, complicated fight for both men. Canelo, very flashy, great hand speed, great pop. Bivol, very slow starter, likes to lurk, likes to break it down. This fight, I feel you're going to have Canelo working his way in. You're going to have Bivol's jab. That's going to cause some difficulty for Canelo. This is going to be sort of like when Kovalev was just popping that jab on Canelo, just backing him. It was effective for the first 4 rounds. Canelo's going to, again, he's going to adapt. He's going to have to work his way into that jab. Bivol brings power in both hands. It's going to be one of these fights where flashy Canelo's going to come out moving, going to come out feigning, going to come out attacking the body. Nevertheless, Bivol hasn't faced a fighter like Canelo. He has typically fought your big light heavyweights. Of course, Canelo is not your typical light heavyweight. Canelo is a very skilled fighter that has all the tools. He can fight inside, he can fight outside, he can work his way to a victory. This will be a difficult fight for Canelo. It's not gonna be easy. He's gonna get tagged. It's gonna be very complicated. I see him making the adjustments. I see him struggling in there at times too. Perhaps the 7th, 8th round is where he's gonna start to get a rhythm, work his way. Combinations will be effective. Bivol will have those snapping punches. He will be backing him, but I see Canelo kind of doing a rope-a-dope, countering, moving, sticking and moving. Eventually, he wins a decision against a very tough Dmitry Bivol. Don't expect an easy win for Canelo. This isn't going to be your walk in the park for Canelo. He's going to have to work for it. Bivol is as tough as it gets. Bivol has seen it all, mentioned it already. He's had a great amateur background, great pedigree. So you can never count that out. Even though he has 19 fights compared to Canelo's pro experience, again, it will be a very tough fight for Canelo, but I see him winning this fight by a decision, winning a unanimous decision with a 116-112 scorecard, 117, 113. I'm sorry, just a 117, 111, something in that range. Again, it's going to be a very competitive, tough fight for Canelo, which will have Golovkin licking his chops for September.